Good afternoon, everyone. I see Chairman Bland has joined, but we'll still keep letting others join, especially committee members, and we'll get started in a few minutes at the call of the chair. So thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We'll get started in 1 minute. Hey, Mr. Butler. Hello, Mr. Fisher. Hello, Commissioner Mulheron. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Thank you. My clock shows 2 o'clock. So if we could, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Academic Affairs and Quality Committee. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Mr. Butler, good to see you, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Good to see you as well.
Well, thank you very much. So we have a 3-part agenda. We have our information items, and then we'll cover select new degree programs awaiting action, and then we'll have updates. So we'll go right into agenda item number 1, our information items. And Dr. Butler, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have under info item A, 3 academic degree programs awaiting action from Indiana University, Bloomington, a Bachelor of Science in Sports Media and a Bachelor of Science in Robotics. And then from Purdue West Lafayette, a Master's of Science in Strategy and Security and Defense Technologies. All 3 are on the agenda for today's committee.
Thank you. Is Mr. Butler anything then more that we want to cover around information items?
Yes, sir. We have info item B, which is academic degree program actions taken by staff. There are 3 things I would like to note. The first being a typo, which has been updated on the website, and it'll be noted in the document. It was under item numbers 11 and 12. Instead of events, plural, it should be singular event for that certificate in event management. We apologize for the typo. That has been corrected, and the staff actions will reflect the correct nomenclature or naming. The second item, sir, is items number 1 through 5 for Ivy Tech Community College. you'll notice all of those items are suspending a program statewide. Those are all certificate programs in various IT and information technology, cybersecurity, cloud areas, which might raise what might be going on there when it comes to high wage, high demand, cutting edge fields. And the reason for that, and I'm paraphrasing for the community college, so forgive me. And if members would like further information on this, we will get it. But what they're doing is they are consolidating these 5 certificate programs into what will be a new IT infrastructure and operations certificate that will be a unified entry point for 4 associate degrees, applied associate degrees in cybersecurity, network infrastructure, IT support, and cloud technologies. This reorganization allows them to streamline their coursework, bring it up to date, and then also enable students who go into the entry point certificate engage in career exploration and exposure to various IT disciplines before they continue to pursue that embedded stackable pathway, say to network infrastructure versus cloud technologies. So I just wanted to call attention to that in case looking at some of those very first few suspensions of programs might cause questions or maybe even alarm. The last thing I'd like to call attention to are items 8, 9, and 10. These are follow-up or follow-through routine staff actions to the under threshold opportunity for voluntary early action exercise the committee offered institutions in June and then heard at the full commission meeting in July as an info item, all from IU South Bend. The number 8 you'll see is adding a consolidated degree, and that is the creation of a BA, BS in physical sciences. That is the result of consolidating their chemistry degree, their biochemistry degree, and their physics degree into one program of study that will accommodate the corresponding degrees through concentrations or tracks. The next one, number 9, is the merger of their BS in mathematics into their BA in mathematics. Again, that was a follow through on a commitment. And then finally is the merger of their BA in fine arts into a BFA in fine arts. And that's also a follow through on their commitments. They're doing that administratively on their end, but the academic program inventory needs to reflect that. So the action you'll see is changing the name. So that might be why you see that, or that is why you see that. Those are the only things of note on my end, Mr. Chairman, the rest being routine.
Thank you for that. Any questions or comments from committee members regarding Matt's update?
Matt, what's the what happens to the Ivy Tech students that are in those certificate programs now?
As I understand it, because they're a suspension, it's on teach out, so they will continue that course of study. But I don't want to. I can follow up with Ivy Tech and get you more of that information. I would assume that they'll pursue their current or they'll complete their current certificate program and can continue to advance, say, to the one of those associate degrees that's aligned with their pathway.
Gotcha. I was just curious if you knew, so thanks.
Yeah. Oh, I see Deanna King is, they will be on a 2-year teach out plan, is what she said. She's with Ivy Tech.
Okay, thank you for that answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Butler. And then just looking at the summary table, is it just fair to say that most of the activity, at least in this report, is coming from IU and Ivy Tech?
Yes, sir. That would be correct. IU Indy, IU South Bend, and Ivy Tech. None of the other institutions had routine staff actions for this month.
Right. Thank you. And well, Mr. Butler, Yeah, unless there's anything else there on agenda item 1, thank you for the update. Unless we have other comments from the committee or questions, then we'll move right into agenda item 2, which is looking at new degree programs awaiting action. And so without,
Yes, oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh, please.
Sorry, I thought maybe you were waiting on me. The first item, if you wish to call it, sir, is the Bachelor of Science in Sports Media to be offered by the Media School at IU Bloomington.
Yes, thank you.
I believe they are struggling with getting in. Have messages coming to me.
I do see Dean Clavio.
I am here, so I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Before we
Danielle.
begin, I'd just like to recuse myself officially because this proposal comes from my school.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Professor Castronova. All right, so we are ready for IU's presentation, and IU, again, before we hear your presentation, please accept our apology for our last meeting where we were not able to hear your presentation. We apologize for any inconvenience, but please do go forward.
I appreciate that, sir, and thanks to you and the rest of the commission for hearing this. I look forward to explaining first kind of an overview of how we got to where we're at right now, and then I'm happy to answer any questions as related to the written proposal. We are seeking permission to get confirmed a Bachelor of Science in Sports Media. This is an existing academic credential that currently we operate as a concentration under the Bachelor of Arts in Media within the Media School. It was started in the second year of the Media School's existence as a standalone concentration, and it has experienced the highest rate of growth of any of our academic credentials within the Media School over the course of the last 9 years, growing from an enrollment of 0 to this year, in the most recent census, having an enrollment of about 315 students. So there's been significant rapid growth. And this is a very unique area. It is admittedly a bit of a niche area, but the reason why we are proposing a standalone degree is both the popularity from students in this area, the growth in the industry writ large in sports media, and also the interdisciplinarity within the media school that is needed in order to effectively educate students in the area of sports media. And I want to explain a little bit about all of those areas as we move forward. The sports industry in general is among the top 10 in the world in terms of the amount of revenue generated. It was a $2.6 trillion industry globally, according to one of the leading magazines that covers this area. 91 of the top 100 television programs in the United States in 2024 were sports broadcasts, most of them football. The sports media rights market in the United States was $29 billion alone this year and is estimated to be $37 billion in the United States by the year 2030. It's a $60 billion global industry right now, just sports media rights. We've seen consistent growth in this area in a variety of different aspects over the course of the last 10 years. And that is where the degree that we are proposing specifically focuses and tries to position Indiana University, and specifically Indiana University Bloomington, as a global leader in this area. Sports media, as it's currently working industry-wise, is a combination of a bunch of different things that the media school already does. It involves journalism, it involves public relations, it involves corporate communication, it involves production, it involves social media, and it also involves the types of digital production that are only most recently being developed. This is production that's happening on people's phones or in the cloud as opposed to the traditional studio spaces of production. What we have done with the concentration here in the media school over the course of the last 9 years is essentially create a miniature media ecosystem around sports media, and that has involved students in all aspects of sports media, from journalism and public relations all the way through the production of live broadcasts of games. There have been partnerships established across the campus, most prominently with the athletics department, where the school has worked very closely to help provide interns and part-time staffers to provide students with hands-on real-world experience working in this while learning in their classroom settings. We've also partnered with radio TV services on providing those similar sorts of opportunities. We've significantly increased our partnerships with independent industry areas, including around the Indianapolis marketplace and the Louisville marketplace, and that's involved working with professional sports franchises, with marketing agencies like Indiana Sports Corp, with media entities like Gannett, and the various ownership groups that own television and radio stations in Indianapolis, Louisville, and beyond. The degree program, as it's constituted right now, suffers from some of the similar issues that I talked about the last time I did a presentation here, which is a limit on the available number of credit hours that one can effectively achieve within a Bachelor of Arts setup. So we seek to move this to a Bachelor of Science setup to provide additional hours for students to gain more hands-on experience and to be able to apply what they learn in introductory and intermediate level classes with project-based upper level courses and practicums, which will better prepare our students for the jobs that they are seeking within the various aspects of the sports media industry. So that's essentially the premise upon which we have constructed this proposal. The one primary thing I wanted to note about the elements of the written proposal, there's actually two things. There do exist a few sports media or sport communication credentials elsewhere in the state. However, I would argue that the program we've constructed here at IU Bloomington has the most robust and broadest array of hands-on experiences for students to engage in while they are here. We build that in as a primary feature of the program, with the idea that students leaving with that type of hands-on experience are far more likely to be able to get jobs in the field that they would like to go into. The second thing I'd like to note is that this degree proposal involves 3 separate but interlocking concentrations. One in sports media content, which is intended for students that wish to pursue creative careers in things like writing, broadcasting, social media content creation. One concentration that focuses on production for behind the scenes and technically focused experiential learning opportunities and career pathways. And one in sports media management, which is focused on things like marketing and sales and advertising, specifically within the sports media and sports properties areas. The goal with the way that we've set this up and the way that the degree program as proposed interlocks with the rest of the school and with the experiential opportunities available is that we want students to get a clear sense of what they will be facing when they graduate and move out into industry. And we want to ensure that we are able to move with an agility that oftentimes is difficult in higher education by ensuring that we're able to continually create hands-on opportunities for students that mirror what we're seeing in the industry. Generally speaking, I always tell people when I started working as a professor here in this area, and this is my home area, just to be clear, and this is a program that I personally put together. When I started in this field, many of the social networks that we have come to just look at as part of the landscape, like Instagram and TikTok, just didn't exist when I started. We have had to, over the course of time, continually revamp what we do to keep pace, and I think we've done an excellent job with that. This degree program puts us in an even better position to both attract top-level students from across Indiana and across the country, but make sure that those students are going out and becoming accomplished professionals in this area. So with that preamble, I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has about the proposal or the structure within.
Talk to us about your program and it's dealing with on the topic of ethics and let's say gambling.
Yeah. It's become an area we've had to focus on quite a bit here over the last 5 years as we went from gambling being a very marginalized aspect of the industry to one that is right in the middle of media coverage across the board. What we first do is we teach our students what that world looks like. I've always believed, and I've been teaching sports gambling aspects since long before I ran a program. We want students to understand how much money is in that area, who are the stakeholders involved, and the societal dangers that can be present among certain populations or members of the population in terms of addiction. By the same token, we have to teach our students that currently that is a source of funding and revenue for large parts of the sports media enterprise, as other forms of revenue have started to dry up. So it's a tricky thing to try to navigate, but what we do try to get across to our students is that you do have an ethical and moral obligation to advise the population about the dangers of sports wagering, the potential addictive properties of it, and to understand that there needs to be a dividing line between news content and gambling related content. And a lot of times that's dependent on who your individual employer ends up being, but that's where we try to guide students into not just taking jobs because they need a job, as opposed to taking a job because it aligns with their moral and ethical compass. And that's something that we do try to underline, not just in our primary course that teaches about the sports media industry, but we also reinforce that in many of the 300 and 400 level skills classes that are specifically focused on content creation and production.
Very good. Thank you very much for that fulsome response. Appreciate it. Any other thoughts, questions from the committee?
I've got one. This is Dan Peterson. Dean Clavio, great presentation, number one, really well described and articulated. Thank you very much. Question, and I think I may know the answer, but I don't want to assume. In the write-up, it talked in there that there is not a work-based learning requirement built into this program, and you talk about exposure to career activities, but I'm just kind of curious why this one wouldn't have, and I recognize that's not a requirement everywhere, but seems like one that would lend itself to good opportunity and need for work-based learning exposure.
Yeah, it's a great question. And we have a plethora of work-based learning opportunities available to students within the curriculum as currently designed, with more being added every year. Where we decided a while ago to take out a requirement for, because we used to require the X472 internship class for everybody. What we were finding was two problems. One, it presented a financial barrier to a lot of students who did not come from means to do an extracurricular work-based activity. And the second aspect was it became difficult to get official external work-based activities for all students. And what we found that they were doing was oftentimes doing non-sports related work-based activities and then trying to substitute it in as part of the requirement. The internship world in sports media can be a difficult one because the entities that take those students on generally wait until those students are rising seniors or are in their final year. And that's not always a great equation for students who need that type of experience earlier on in their time. They'll tend to settle for something that is less than ideal. So what we've tried to do, and what I'd like to do, is eventually put a different classification on work-based experiences back in, because at this point, everybody's doing at least 2 or 3. There's just not a single requirement that we're holding everybody to. And this is where a production student coming in and working with our Big Ten Plus setup, where they are getting hands-on work doing productions of broadcasts, that would be a great work-based experience for a production track sports media student. It would not be great for a content-based student who really needs experience on camera or writing for an outlet. And oftentimes our partners will change with that, our opportunities will change on campus. So what we're trying to do is balance several different things at once. But when we bring students into this program, we emphasize over and over again, we want you working with student media. We want you working with external entities when you develop enough of a skill set to have a marketable set of skills that you can bring to those companies. And now the key is raising the floor, so to speak, to ensure that all of our students are on the same page and on the same level of skill so that they can all take advantage of those as they move forward. So it's really more of a logistical issue right now than it is a desire issue.
That makes sense. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Dr. Butler, could you provide a staff recommendation, please?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. Staff would like to note the very recent approval by this committee and commission of what would be analogous degree programs. And that was a new Bachelor of Science in Media Advertising that was a high enrollment concentration within the current BA in media that split off to become a standalone BS with more in-depth curriculum, more experiential learning and potential work-based learning opportunities, as well as the split off of the BS in public relations from the Bachelor of Journalism, which was also a concentration within that, also a high enrollment, high conferral program. When it comes to this concentration, which is within the Bachelor of Media, it has over 300 students. It's the second most popular, if my figures are correct. And the most recent year graduated 63 concentrators. So viability is not a concern for this new standalone degree program, and it's not going to cause any viability concerns for the parent program that's shedding off the concentration. I think those are very important things to note when it comes to some of the enrollment and conferral dynamics the commission is required to consider after the 2025 session. Another component would be this area or field dovetails with two areas or two strengths of the state. IU Bloomington being a Power 5 conference campus with Big Ten network and also major ESPN, what have you, sports coverage across a variety of co-ed sports areas, basketball, football, et cetera. Also, the city of Indianapolis and central Indiana being the amateur sports capital of the world, as well as having significant professional sports opportunities spanning motorsports through professional sports leagues. And then also that while it is a very focused applied discipline of sports media, these skills are transferable to other multimedia production areas, whether it's broadcast journalism or producing content, say, for a conventional corporation. So opportunities across a wide spectrum. And as I believe Dean Clavio noted, that content creation or production isn't just limited to sports coverage. It can also be for the actual sports entities, such as teams, conferences, leagues, what have you. Also of note is that under its current iteration, the concentrations that are proposed, the three, production, content, and management, would not be possible under the current minor or the current concentration within media, therefore providing both more options to students and more in-depth study. And I should also note that the faculty are interested in pursuing embedded stackable credentials once IU Bloomington finalizes a policy on that front. And in talking with the faculty, we were informed that they are looking at, or at least envisioning, 3-course 9-credit-hour clusters in areas like broadcasting, live event production, social media, which could be not just stackable for the students in this new major, but would be applicable to other media school students or even, say, business school students across the IU campus. So and then another is that they are looking to build an artificial intelligence tools course specific to sports media students regarding the ethical creation and usage of AI generated content. For these reasons, staff recommend that the Bachelor of Science in Sports Media be an expedited item on the Commission's November meeting agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Butler. So committee members, we've heard the recommendation from Dr. Butler, and what is the pleasure of the committee? Is there an interest in approving, moving this forward?
So move.
Second.
So move in a second.
Yep, same.
Any opposition? Hearing none, we agree to move this forward as an expedited item on our November agenda. So thank you very much, IU. And so now we're ready for the next presentation, which is the Bachelor of Science in Robotics, to again be presented by Indiana University Bloomington.
Not sure if Tom Pappas is going to lead us off or if I should just jump straight in.
Please jump right in, Paul.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and for members of the committee. We're really pleased to present IU Bloomington's proposal for Bachelor of Science in Robotics with a first expected cohort in fall of 2027. Currently, IU Bloomington has Bachelor of Science degrees in the Luddy School in Computer Science with specialization in Artificial Intelligence, Intelligent Systems Engineering with a specialization in Cyber Physical Systems, a Master of Science in Human-Computer Interaction and Computer Engineering, but we currently have no degree that solidly combines all the key elements from these programs into balanced programs in robotics. Similarly, as we look across the state, there are wonderful offerings available, largely falling into two categories. There are several excellent mechatronics degrees, but mechatronics, generally speaking, focuses more on the mechanics of the embeddable programmable systems, things like industrial robotics that have a prearranged script, and generally are not as interactive and adaptive or work in controlled environments, not interacting with humans in their day-to-day work. The other area we often see some excellent offerings here across the state would be mechanical electrical engineering degrees with a light specialization in robotics. So it'd be mechanical engineering with some courses or specialization in robotics or electrical computer engineering. This proposal works to complement these wonderful offerings in the state to offer a unique program that leverages our strengths in a strong cross-school multidisciplinary program. It's designed from the bottom up for hands-on learning experience, early integration of ethical design, and human-centric design with artificial intelligence. And by design, this degree will be prepared for ABET accreditation in mechatronics and robotics engineering when we get our first cohort through the program. We were able to rapidly develop this program over the last year based on several elements. First of all, we have strong faculty expertise and strong student interest in current robotics, AI, and cyber-physical systems courses and co-curricular learning throughout the school. We see clear and growing societal industrial interest in adaptive automated systems, which really motivated our faculty to work with their areas of interest to do this. We have frequent interactions between our Luddy faculty and industrial leaders to gauge and respond to workforce needs, which helped drive the original motivation to create this proposal. We already were able to look at successful templates from observing successful robotics programs at Michigan and other programs to kind of give us a starting template, along with clear ABET guidelines in mechatronics and robotic engineering to help guide the design of the curriculum. And there's a firm commitment in the faculty department and school leadership to refine curricular offerings like these in response to key student and player needs and demands. We see a great need for these degrees. First of all, we look across the board, even within our school right now, we see increasing high school participation in summer camps and robotics competitions across the state, including those hosted at IU and at Luddy. Students have frequently mentioned in our one-on-ones with faculty recruiters and recruiting staff that they're often mentioning their interest in robotics programs and building upon the robotics clubs they've done, say, for example, in the first robotics program here in the state. We also look across the state and we see increasing automation in the workplace, which is going to require next generation adaptive systems. Looking deeper across it, both state and nationally and internationally, we see prominent tech firms going all in on human-centered robotics. Companies like Meta, Tesla, NVIDIA, Samsung, Amazon, and others are developing autonomous systems that are interacting directly with humans, and not just in walled-off industrial areas. So it's really increasingly integrated. The current degree offerings in the Luddy School have been very popular with our students. There are generally some of our highest enrollment classes in Intelligent Systems Engineering, the CS department, Informatics department, but we really haven't to date woven these together into a coherent and well-designed program that really is going to push the envelope in what we can offer. And so really, this is part of our generally, you've probably seen us in the last couple of years making a big push to adapt our curriculum and our offerings here in the Luddy School to be able to respond to a very rapidly technical landscape, and the workforce is also rapidly changing, particularly with artificial intelligence and robotics in the last few years. We're leveraging unique strengths across the school, in particular, complementing existing robotics and mechatronics degrees across the state with this unique offering and focus, leveraging strengths in cyber-physical systems, highly competitive robotics research and co-curricular activities, including a robotic racing program that's been very prominent in the last year or two, including actually an IndyCar platform that's been autonomous racing and competing with some of the best programs across the country and internationally. Very strong programs in computer science, AI, and high-performance computing, and innovative human-centric robotics expertise. Our proximity to Crane and Oak Ridge National Laboratory and other local industrial partners gives us unique internship opportunities. And we see closer integration of robotics, AI, and human-centric robotics in this program that we intend to create than existing mechanical engineering degrees or mechatronics degrees, which either focus very much on the hardware or very much on a little bit of the software, but not quite the full integrative aspect of it. The program will integrate artificial intelligence and machine learning throughout the curriculum, starting from the very first semester, and also have an early and constant infusion of ethics in the curriculum, really to make sure that the students are learning to build and be responsible for their creations in this program, which is critical as we have robotics designed to interact directly with humans, not just in walled-off industrial spaces, and really working into that. And the whole program will have a multidisciplinary focus. To give you a quick note on the overall structure, we'll have a very strong robotics core with courses in things like mechanics and dynamics, robot motion planning, human-robot interactions, multi-robot systems. Then, of course, complementing the core robotics engineering degrees, we have math and science cores and calculus, physics, linear algebra, other essential courses in software engineering, circuits, electronics, plenty of artificial intelligence and machine vision courses throughout the curriculum and rapid prototyping. And then students can choose among several tailored electives and kind of specialization areas within robotics, things like autonomy, computation, embedded cyber-physical systems, human-centered robotics. We can really go in a little bit deep then after that general curriculum across the robotics span. And all of this will culminate in a year-long hands-on capstone course where they're going to be leveraging the existing capstone structures here, but integrating either into very deep robotics teams or into multidisciplinary robotics teams. So you can have some capstones that can either go deep in on robotics only, or you can combine robotics, data science, and engineering students across the board into mixed teams. And these are all possibilities here. And in addition to that, there's going to be a lot of hands-on learning opportunities throughout the classes, the experiential learning, robotics competitions, our IndyCar we talked about earlier, and really then also integrating with internship opportunities across the state. It's experiential by design, project based learning from the very first semester to the very last. We allow internships to count towards the credit limit so that the internships are not required, but they can count and are encouraged, and many students already do go on to find wonderful internships that lead to employment later. Many of the capstone projects are anticipated to stem from internships with industry and large employers, particularly with our long history working with Crane, Cummins, and others here in the state. We've also been working with Oak Ridge National Lab because they have some state-of-the-art robotic laboratories. And as that develops, we anticipate opportunities for micro-credentials and stackables and other internship possibilities there. And then we will also be including an advisory committee to provide feedback as we refine the curriculum, as we develop the first cohort and push them through and make sure that we're always very responsive to workforce needs and refining our curriculum. And we anticipate connecting this with other educational paths. We have already a 1+3 articulation with the two-year colleges. We anticipate that as IU zeroes in on what their micro-credential requirements and regulation are, that we will start offering micro-credentials as a way to get people streamlined into the program earlier if they come from non-traditional pathways, or to provide continuing education to workforce needs. We do anticipate as we get going to create a 4+1 master's program and minors in robotics, but we want to work on that core degree first to make sure we launch successfully before we branch out to these things. So we really appreciate this opportunity to present the degree. It leverages a lot of expertise across the Luddy School in robotics, human robotic interactions, and cyber-physical systems, artificial intelligence, CS, and not just in the coursework, but also in co-curricular learning opportunities like autonomous racing. It's built from the ground up to be compatible with specific robotics ABET accreditation. The students are going to get the accredited skills they need for the workforce. And it really is going to accelerate the pace of training in the Indiana robotics workforce with a strong focus on current and emerging trends. This perfect blend of hardware, software, and human-centered design, integrating AI and machine learning all the way throughout the curriculum with a strong focus on responsible use and ethics. We think it's going to be very well positioned for rapid implementation and impact in the state. I'm grateful to present this opportunity and happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Macklin. Appreciate the presentation. Questions from our committee members?
If I could jump in?
Yes,
Please.
Professor Castronova.
So, thank you. That was a wonderful presentation, and it looks like a very exciting degree. Could you comment, though, on we hear that robots are going to take away jobs of millions and millions of people.
Well, that's
Very simple question. What do you
it's
think
a
of
simple
that?
question, but no simple answers. But what we want to do is to make sure that our workforce coming through the school are prepared to not compete against robots, but to work with them, leverage them. We're seeing the exact same things in artificial intelligence, right? It's hitting traditional computer science degrees. We've seen it in our school for sure. But what we do is we can't shy away from it. We need to embrace it and teach our students to leverage these technologies to be competitive. So they're not replaced by the technologies, but they're developing the technologies. Also, with a strong focus on ethics throughout the curriculum, we want to make sure that students are really understanding the impact of the things that they're building from the societal perspective, not just from the financial economic perspective. It's great to have, safety. That's like level 0, right? Robots shouldn't be squishing people on the assembly line. But you take that step back, right? And we want to make sure that we're really building systems that are integrating well with society and driving the societal good. And that's, something that's really built into the ethos of our school of socially, responsible technology that is not necessarily found in the vision statement of other robotics programs. So it's really near and dear to us and not something that we take lightly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from committee members? Thank you, Dr. Castronova. No, if not, Dr. Butler, you have a recommendation, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, we do. Staff met with the faculty proposing the Bachelor of Science in Robotics and to discuss various features of the program that the commission is required to consider, as well as others. Staff wanted to note that we were impressed with the fact that they will be pursuing accreditation upon the graduation of the first cohort. Also, as an engineering accreditation, this program, given the Luddy School's emphasis on computing, AI, and other aspects, it's one could say, perhaps safely, a non-traditional engineering school / informatics / computer science school. So the way in which they will stand up a standalone robotics course or program of study would be somewhat unique compared to, say, other institutions in the state. Also want to note that the demand for robotics, not just globally, but even specifically within Indiana, is growing and is only intensifying. And that being not just your traditional robots, I think many of us think about when that comes to assembly lines or robotics within machines themselves, but more autonomous robots that have to react to stimuli safely in real time. Which will require AI, which will require computing, and perhaps the actual mechanics of the robot aren't the real magic behind it. It's far more the computing and the processing. That is something that Luddy School can bring their particular emphasis to without maybe concerns with duplication with others. Want to also note that some of the courses in what they're calling a 30 credit hour robotics core includes a gateway introduction course or a robotics 101, a foundational human robotic interaction course, and then also it was, I believe, mentioned just now, a robotics ethics course. There are also 7 tracks or specializations spanning computation to human-centered robotics to biorobotics, and then also a flexible study in which a student can customize their interests into one. Also want to note the 2-course or 1-year team-based capstone course, which the commission always values capstone experiences when it comes to courses of study. And also want to note that this is similar to the media school faculty, that they are exploring the opportunity for embedded credit-bearing micro-credentials and stackable credentials once the Bloomington campus has finalized the policy on that front. And they believe that there will be students in other disciplines and other majors who would be interested in robotics certificates, not to mention the students themselves progressing towards their final culminating degree could earn stackable credentials along the way. And then also wanted to note that Professor Macklin did bring out that Indiana is one of the leading states, despite our size, population-wise, one of the leading states in high school robotics competitions, and also I shouldn't just say participation, but success. In terms of developing pipelines from Hoosier students to study robotics and get intentional experiential learning or work-based learning while they're pursuing their baccalaureate degree, far more likely for them to stay within Indiana or at least the Midwest region. There's hopefully a pipeline already there, and we think there is at the commission. We would all agree with the faculty that there is one there as well. Because of this, staff recommend that the Bachelor of Science in Robotics to be offered by the Luddy School at IU Bloomington be put on the November commission meeting agenda as an expedited item.
Thank you. Dr. Butler, we've heard the recommendation from Commission for Higher Education staff. And I asked them the pleasure of the committee. Are you all okay with moving this forward as an expedited item on our November agenda?
Yes.
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 Great presentation.
Yes, I agree. Excellent presentation. I think I heard from everyone. Kent Kramer, did I get a yes from you, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Beautiful, and you're welcome, and thanks for joining us. Well, congratulations. That's great presentation, Professor Macklin. This will move forward on the expedited agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, you're very welcome, sir. And so now we have a Master of Science in Strategy and Security and Defense Technologies from Purdue University, West Lafayette. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having us. On behalf of our Office of the Provost, I have the pleasure of introducing two colleagues to share with you about this degree this afternoon. We have Dr. Soren Matei, who's our Associate Dean of Research and Graduate Studies for the College of Liberal Arts, and then also Kelvin Gums, our Executive Director for Military Educational and Strategic Partnerships. I'll turn it over to Soren.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you, members of the Commission. It's a true honor and privilege to be here with you today and to share with you our vision for this unique and I hope very productive program. So the Purdue's Masters of Science and Strategy for Security and Defense Technologies addresses a critical gap in the workforce of our state and nation. And that gap is between the pace of our technological progress and our human ability to take full advantage of this progress in the national defense space. There's a great need, we believe, for professionals who can blend the strategic thinking with technological acumen in the defense and security realms. So why are we launching this degree? So we are witnessing a transformation in national security technologies. Emerging technologies such as AI, cyberspace, and autonomous systems are now central to national security and international relations. Purdue, as a leader in STEM and liberal arts, aims to address this shift with this unique educational opportunity. Now, we integrate strategic thinking in the traditional sense with technological expertise. We will prepare our defense professionals to seamlessly bridge missions, military missions, defense missions, security missions, by amplifying human creativity and resilience with technological acumen. Now, the interdisciplinary curriculum that we offer combines strategy, history, engineering, data science, and social sciences in a seamless and unique manner, we believe. Now, technology is not an add-on. Neither are the liberal arts. They are both woven through as if in a fabric. We have the yarn and the weft, tightly connected. Technology is embedded in every course, as are liberal arts values and competencies that I'll discuss in a minute. Students are trained to interpret and model data, critique and design technological strategies, anticipate adversary moves, and deter them with offset technologies. These are technologies that are 1, 2, 3 steps ahead of our adversaries. Now, we prepare our graduates with competencies in analytical, trade-off, indirect, ethical reasoning, in negotiation, in strategic empathy. Now, we invite the students to explore practical problems pragmatically so that they can embrace leadership roles at the intersection of strategy and technology in the military services, at the Pentagon, in Congress, the executive branch, or in defense corporations. Now, at this point, I would like to ask my colleague, Kelvin Gomes, to talk a little bit about our connection with the military ecosystem.
Thank you, Dr. McKay, and thank you, leadership, for the opportunity to talk about this program. So why focus on the military? We are indeed extremely focused on military personnel, government civilians, veterans, and defense industry professionals as some of the primary customers and partners for this program. We deeply take into account the military's and national security operational tempo and mission-driven culture, which makes this program ideal in context for applying strategic and technological insights. Our courses are going to be online, they're going to be high interaction, and truly built for folks with busy lives. We strongly will align this program with professional military education concepts, and moreover, we're going to support stackability of credentials and credit for prior learning that may be applied through prior experience. And we do this to further reduce time and cost toward completion. We will continue to work closely and coordinate with our military base educational service officers and military commands to develop partnerships and communicate the value of this program to individual learners that we aim to serve. I'd like to turn it back over to Dr.
Yes, thank you, Kelvin. Now, a few words about the impact of the program for Indiana. How is this degree good for Hoosiers? The master's program in strategy for defense and security technologies delivers for Indiana by developing a pipeline of tech competent strategists working in the business or military world. And these individuals will strengthen the Indiana National Guard, local defense contractors, suppliers, and dual-use startups, of which we want to see more. And a program like this will create that type of high-level expertise that these startups need. Now, by anchoring our program in advanced coursework and professionally aligned capstones and practitioner networks, we hope to establish Indiana as a hub of defense innovation and further position us as a place that attracts military personnel transitioning to civilian roles, engineers who want to lead strategy, and policy professionals who want to upskill on technology. We also hope that the Department of Defense will look more favorably upon Indiana and will get more military facilities and research laboratories. And obviously, this would be done in collaboration with the university, leadership and other leaders in the state. Now, the net result of this program is a better trained regional workforce and an influx of new talent and partnerships that will elevate Indiana's role in national security and defense. Now, the program will help elevate partnerships with in-state defense employers that we know about and we interact with, such as Saab, Rolls-Royce, or L3 Harris, or out-of-state partners that we currently engage. I personally work, for example, with Lockheed Martin, and I hope that in the future we'll establish a small startup based on this project. We will ensure through this program that civilian employees in defense-aligned organizations are a key population that we may serve. So by developing mission-ready technology-savvy strategists, we help make Indiana a magnet for defense innovation and leadership. Now, Kelvin will tell us a few more words about the way in which we make this program uniquely attractive to these individuals.
Thank you, Dr. Matei. I'd like to just talk a little bit about increased accessibility. We fully believe that now is the time for increased accessibility through affordability. I'll touch on our military focus for a moment. By specifically pricing this degree at the military tuition assistance rate of $250 per credit hour, for the credit hours and most fees and books included, except some potential application fees, we fully ensure that this program is financially viable and accessible to our active duty, reserve, government, civilians through this element of affordability. We also see that the value of the price point for all, including veterans and industry personnel, even at the non-military rate, this degree offers tremendous value. The 30 credit hour structure allows for civilians using corporate workforce development funds or veterans that may be using their GI Bill to maximize their benefits while completing a high impact degree in a very efficient manner. I'd like to turn it back over to Dr. Matei to close.
Yeah, thank you, Calvin. Well, just a few more words, and maybe very few words. I want to conclude by saying the following. This program is more than a degree. It is a strategic investment that Purdue makes in the people of Indiana and in other Americans who will shape the future of American security. And we want Indiana to be a leader in defense innovation by training these individuals. We are very excited to start working on making the program a success so that our state, Purdue, our nation, remains and will be a leader in national defense, education, and innovation. Thank you so very much for your attention.
Thank you very much for the comprehensive presentation. Any questions or comments from committee members?
Dennis, I would like to commend Purdue for doing this. I didn't realize the market for this type of course would be so great, but when you articulated the possible number of people who might be involved, I certainly can see the necessity for it. So I commend Purdue for doing this.
Thank you, Commissioner Garatoni. Commissioner Kramer.
Yeah, great presentation. Just wanted some clarification or to get an idea on how long this might take. I see it's 30 hours, 30 credit hours. You can get up to 12 credit hours for experience, which I think many would have with their undergraduate degree and being active duty and whatnot. So just wondering, is this a year-long program, or is it longer than that?
Well, we teach the courses at 8-week courses at an accelerated pace. And we believe that the course can be completed in a year if the student, invests all their time and energy in it. But these being busy professionals, this could also be up to 18 months. But I do not anticipate anyone who has the time to drive and the energy to do it, spending more than that in the program.
And then thank you. And then follow-up question to that. I see that this could be a feeder into one of the 2 doctorate programs with all 30 hours, including the credit received for experience applied to the doctorate as well.
Yeah, we In essence, yes. There are
Yeah.
still issues to be negotiated with the programs because there are multiple programs and they have their own autonomy. But yeah, this being Purdue courses, obviously they transfer.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have a way to hi, this great presentation. This is exciting. Do you have any way to vet are there enemies of the United States that could be enrolling in
Yes.
this program? Is there a way to vet that?
Yes, sir. We will filter the admission process quite carefully, and there's a list of countries of concern, and we will make sure that we keep an eye on that.
I figured you did, but I just had to say it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate the comment.
All right, great presentation.
Yeah, I think you've got a lot of experience with that, don't you? Up at Purdue, I've been up there to see some programs before, and I know that that's always a common question.
Yeah.
About the admission. Just a quick question that I may have missed. Sorry, I'm fighting a cold. You described that obviously probably the majority of the enrollees will be former active military, others with a lot of experience. Is there a requirement to be in to get into the program that they have experience, or will young rollover students from undergraduates be potentially accepted into the program?
No, we do not require that students have a prior military experience or be involved with the Department of Defense. And that's because we want to actually feed into the Department of Defense new talent, right? We want to train, students to, think different and, want to achieve different things.
Yep, makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great comments. I would just ask as a follow-up, how much can you expound on Commissioner Fisher's question around the efficacy of screening?
Well, the admission process is committee-based to begin with, right? So it's not an automatic process. We have a committee with a protocol, and that protocol will define certain criteria for admission, basically, right? Now, we will work very closely with the Purdue Council, with Purdue Office for International Scholars and Students, and we will make sure that the process is in compliance with all laws, rules, regulations, and with Purdue's values and mission.
And this is Dimitri Peroulis. If I can just add a couple of things on that. So the university, in addition exactly to what Dr. Matei mentioned, the university does have an export control office that screens every single applicant to the program. And so this is going to be used here as well. As another commission, I think, mentioned, we've been doing this for a while. So we feel pretty confident about that.
All right, thank you so very much for both responses. Dr. Butler, could we have a staff recommendation, please, sir?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Commission staff met with the faculty and university representatives to discuss the degree proposal. And one thing we wanted to note that this is the curricular basis of it is an outgrowth of a current concentration within the Master of Science and Interdisciplinary Engineering degree, which is a strategy and defense engineering concentration. It's in its first year after launching in May of 2024 and already has 28 enrollees. And then also launched concurrently with that is a graduate certificate in strategic defense technologies, which one could take as a credit-bearing certificate or a non-credit professional development certificate. That is an embedded stackable credential to this proposed degree program. A student can simultaneously enroll in both and earn them simultaneously. So staff wanted to note that. Many of the courses are already pre-existing, so though some have been developed to address this in-depth area of study. Another being that compared to peer institutions and comparable programs to study across the country. The emphasis on technology strategies in terms of, say, space, AI, cybersecurity is a very unique and distinct aspect of the program, particularly when it's blended with its online asynchronous nature and it's extremely affordable in terms of national perspective, affordable tuition. Pretty much no out-of-pocket costs for military students at the military tuition assistance program rates, and then as a land-grant institution with quite competitive tuition rates for working professionals. Also, staff wanted to note that there are opportunities for in-state students as well. Our Indiana National Guard has a potential pipeline here, and then also outside of, say, the normal defense complex, say, that's on the coast or around Washington, D.C., we do have Crane Naval Base. We have major suppliers like Rolls-Royce, where there are contractors and specialists, both civilian and enlisted or commissioned, who could pursue this program and already be in the state and perhaps more likely to stay in the state after obtaining this credential. The other aspect I wanted to add, and forgive me if it was not mentioned, there is an experiential learning opportunity or a travel and learn in the Indo-Pacific, which would include Hawaii and Taiwan, or to DC and Europe. And I wanted to make a point of that. And the faculty believe that there will be funding available for at least the military students, so there would be no extra cost for them there. Also, the faculty did note that there are credit for prior learning, and as Commissioner Kramer also brought that up, there's already the embedded stackable credential aspect as well. And then this does build off of similar intentional partnerships that the university already has with the Naval Flight School and the U.S. Air Force. So building on many efforts that the university has already embarked upon, but in a new field. So because of this, staff recommend this proposed degree program be an expedited item at the commission's full meeting in November.
Thank you, Dr. Butler, for the recommendation. And now put before the committee, what is your pleasure? Do we move this forward?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Thank you. Ms. Mulhern, and I see a nod of the head. Yes, thank you. And we will move that forward. An excellent presentation, Purdue. And look forward to seeing it on the expedited agenda. And Dr. Butler, then I think that concludes all of our presentations from higher education community. Thank you all very much. And now we'll go to our third and final agenda item, which is just updates. We have updates on CHEDS and then updates on our threshold degree requirements, just to get a status on it. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Butler for those updates, sir.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. The CHEDS, which is the Commission for Higher Education Data Submission System, is both our academic program inventory, and it's also how we collect reported data from the institutions for enrollment and conferral. So it's a very important system. The iteration we're in now is called CHEDS 2.0 or CHEDS 2, which you maybe have heard before. It can accept routine staff actions electronically from institutions. It can do that now, but we're not really ready to launch that yet. We're looking forward to doing it entirely that way with the new calendar year upcoming 2026. So this is both for the awareness of our committee members here, but also perhaps more so from our institutional partners who have tuned in, that we will be preparing some training materials and some one-pagers or informational items to help instruct that process. We think it'll facilitate matters much more and automate matters versus the emailing PDFs. And while I'm on that topic, I'd be remiss, and I apologize, Mr. Chairman, if I may, to introduce to the committee our new manager for academic affairs, Dr. Casey Wright. And I don't know if Casey can just say a quick hello. We're ecstatic to have her on our team, and she brings a wealth of experience in terms of institutional research, her last work being at the University of Iowa.
Thank you, Dr. Butler. Yes, I'm looking forward to supporting the committee moving forward and receiving the emails in the short term, and then hopefully processing everything in the long term in CHEDS 2.0. So thank you.
Thank you, and welcome, Dr. Wright. We appreciate having you. Welcome to the commission.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'll follow that up with Dr. Carrie Hoffman, who was also with us, who some of you might have met, and she was at our last committee meeting. Her prior role was reactivated because of federal funding being restored, and she went back to that position. We wish her the best of luck in serving students in that role. But she is no longer with the commission to clarify that. The final update from staff is about the under threshold degree review process, which we are currently in. Institutions now have the true mutual consensus list of their programs that are under threshold that must request approval to continue. Their request will be submitted to the commission not later than Friday, November 7th. So that is approaching. Once those are submitted, staff will start reviewing in preparation for the December AA&Q meeting. And we will keep you up to date on all those fronts. If you do have any questions, committee members, please do not hesitate to contact me. And likewise, institutional partners, please do not hesitate to contact me with any questions or issues. We field them every 2 or 3 days, and it is very helpful. You are not bothering us. If they make us think about things perhaps we haven't thought of in a certain way, or they flag issues, or they're just going to clarify or simplify matters for all concerned. So we thank our institutional partners for the partnership, and we thank, as staff, the committee for always their input and support.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Butler. Any question from committee members or clarifications needed regarding the updates Dr. Butler has provided? Hearing none. You all, are there any other items for the good of the order? Well, I understand there will be no November committee meeting. And so we're getting prepared for our next meeting where these items will be on the commission meeting agenda. Dr. Butler, if there's not anything else, then committee members, thank you for your service. Everyone, thank you for joining us. Again, great presentation from our higher education community. We'll consider this meeting adjourned. Everybody have a great afternoon. Godspeed.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Everyone.
Take care
See
now.
you.